motherfuckers, they don't know what I do. I kill all these trap beats and y'all know it's true. I guarantee you never heard of me, but I'ma do this shit until they murder me.
Hey, what's going on guys, Hvk here, bringing us another Call of Duty Black Ops 3 best class setup video. In today's episode we're going to be talking about my favorite assault rifle currently in the game, which is the Hvk-30. But before we jump into this episode, please be sure to hit that like button, that really does mean a lot to me, and check out episode 1, link to that will be in the top of the description down below if you haven't seen it already. And if you're new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button for more Call of Duty Black Ops 3 weekly videos. Anyways, let's get on with the episode. So as I said earlier, the Hvk-30 is actually my favorite assault rifle in the game. You unlock it at a pretty early level and it does quite a bit of damage, and it's kind of my go-to class for playing objective game modes like Domination or Search and Destroy. So in episode 1 of this series, I featured the Feral, which is kind of an aggressive rushing class setup, but in this episode I'm going to be doing kind of the opposite, which is more of a defensive team-based class. So like I said, we're going to be using the Hvk-30 obviously, but the perks and the attachments built around it are going to help you to capture those flags in Domination, to defend those flags in Domination, and of course in other game modes too. So this class is going to be getting you a lot of kills, but more importantly, you're going to be capturing the objective and helping out your team. And if you're someone like me who likes to have a good KD when it comes to win-loss ratio, this is a pretty good class to be using. As for the attachments I have on this weapon, the ELO sight is currently my favorite sight to be using on this gun. However, you do unlock that at a higher level of a weapon, so the red dot works just as fine. I just recommend using the little circle reticle. However, if you prefer the iron sights on this weapon, then go for that, because you can use that extra creator class point towards a piece of equipment or a perk or etc. I just prefer to use the red dot or the ELO sight because I'm not a huge fan of the iron sights, but that's all a personal opinion. Next up, I use the high caliber, which is kind of an odd attachment. It's not very popular. I don't typically use it, but I found that it affects the HVK in particular very, very well. Not only does it help you get headshots towards getting your camo unlocks, but in general, it helps you get more and more kills. You have more of a likelihood of killing the enemy before they kill you. And partnered with my next attachment, which is the grip, it can just melt down the enemies. So as I said, I'm using the grip on this weapon as I do on most weapons. I just like knowing where my bullets are going. The kick in particular on this weapon isn't terrible, but having that grip will just help you aim down more accurately. Seeing as though this is a defensive class setup, I recommend using one of the launchers as a secondary. Not only do you help your team and yourself out by destroying enemy kill streaks, but you're also going to be capturing more objectives. For example, if someone puts a Guardian on the B dom, then you can easily just take it out from the side using your launcher, and then your teammates can hop onto that flag and capture it. As for your equipment, I typically use the trip mine, which I always put down on either the flag or the bomb depending on which game mode you're playing, and it almost guarantees you a kill in every life. Unless the enemy is using hardwired, there's not really any way of avoiding this trip mine, and I almost always get a kill, sometimes even a double kill using it when I'm playing objective based game modes. So I recommend using the trip mine because it will give you some pretty cool and unexpected XP and kills. And finally, for your perks, I recommend using hardwired because, as I just said, it's kind of hard avoiding those trip mines unless you're using it. So using hardwired will help you against an abundance of other things, but mainly the trip mines. So if you're playing Domination or if you're walking into a building, you don't really have to worry about the enemy's equipment because it's not going to affect you when you're using this perk. On this class, I have a second perk too. I use the tracker, which I highly recommend if you're playing things like Search and Destroy, because you can follow and hunt down the enemies using this perk. And you can also get on some pretty high kill streaks. I think I've gotten on like maybe a 26 kill streak. So this perk is pretty overpowered in my opinion, but pretty useful. So I recommend using it on any defensive class setup. On all my defensive classes, I use the Engineer perk partnered up with my launcher as a secondary. Engineer isn't a very popular perk 3, but it is pretty powerful in my opinion. Engineer allows you to see enemy score streaks through walls with a red line around them, so you can easily hunt them down and destroy them with your launcher, as well as enemy aircraft in the air. You can see a red outline on them on your mini-map. So this Engineer perk is pretty powerful, and I recommend using it on any defensive class. It also allows you to double tap your care package, so let's say if you get something like a UAV out of a care package, you can just double tap it and get something better like a sentry gun or a RAPS or something. Anyways guys, that's about it for today's episode. As you can see on screen here, this is my go-to defensive class to be using. I highly recommend it. If you use it for yourself, let me know what you think in the comment section down below, as well as any changes you'd like to make to it. As I mentioned earlier, a like is highly appreciated, and if you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. Anyways guys, my name is Hvk, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.
The rule, do what you do to get by, cause I keep ticking like a metronome, and my thoughts keep telling me to get me home, but my balls keep telling me to let me just let me